welcome to Innerji, Tarot, Tea Charms and Astrology. And this week we're going to have a look at what's ahead for you for the 8th, 9th and 10th of July 2020. So that's this Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. But first, before we actually start the reading, we're going to have a look at the astrology and see what's happening in the skies right now. So here we are. So we still have the sun in Cancer, and the sun will stay in Cancer until around about the 21st, 22nd of July. And of course, sun in Cancer is about family. It's about being the sensitivity, the caring. Cancer people are very, very sensitive, very caring and nurturing. They can also be a little bit private and secretive as well. So we've got the energy of the sun in Cancer lasting through for a little while yet. We also have the moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is the energy of being more public in terms of getting out and about with groups. Networking is really good. So for a lot of people, there's going to be this need to get out and to network. And considering how constricted everyone has been with the pandemic, I think most people will be feeling that quite strongly for the next day before the moon moves out of Aquarius into Pisces. Now, the biggies that are happening in the sky at the moment is we have Mars in Aries, and Mars will stay in Aries until the end of this year. So we've got another good 5 months or so. Mars is in its home sign of Aries. Mars is very, very happy here. It's a cardinal fire sign, Aries. So this is the sign of just getting up and doing without really thinking about the consequences. It's the action man, to use an archetype. It's the fireman rushing into the building on fire to rescue the baby. That's kind of the energy around Aries. And with Mars being in its home place of Aries, this is a very, very happy fit. However, it is squaring Mercury in Cancer, and Mercury is still retrograde. So this is telling me that around the area of family and emotions, there is more of a potential. Being a square, it means it's more challenging. So there's more of a potential for things to blow up and explode. So there might be angry outbursts or frustrated outbursts, particularly around the family areas. So that's just something to be careful of, not just for the next few days that we're reading for with tarot and tea charms, but also for the remainder of the year, that there will be this urge to just lash out at different times. However, once we move out of this square, this energy can be harnessed in a more positive way. Coming down here, we also have Saturn in Capricorn. Now, Saturn is very much at home in Capricorn, but it is retrograde at the moment. Now, the area of Capricorn is about the big picture. It's about leadership. It's about taking control and keeping control. So there's going to be issues around maintaining your control over the next few months, because Saturn is going to be in this position for quite a while. It's also next door, or as we say in astrology, conjunct Jupiter in Capricorn, and it's also retrograde. So Jupiter is generally a very happy planet, a very planet of luck, good fortune, expansion, moving outward. But in this position in Capricorn, Jupiter is quite diminished, quite not as strong as it normally is. So you're going to find that this is going to be a time with these two together where you're feeling quite restricted in how you get out and about and in the world. And with the pandemic, is it any wonder? But even beyond that, even if we did not have that physical pandemic that was restricting our movement, we would still be having this feeling. Being sun in Cancer at the moment, it's about the feeling of constriction as opposed to necessarily the physical constriction. So I hope that makes sense for you. We also have the moon in Aquarius. So moon in Aquarius is not very strong there. So we're going to find that our reasoning and thinking is going to be stronger than our ability to feel when it comes to the moon being in Aquarius, just for the rest of this day, really. It moves into Pisces tomorrow, where things are going to open up and be a bit more ethereal. So that's just to give you a little bit of an overview of what's happening in the zodiac at the moment in the skies. So with that in mind, we're now going to do our reading. So I'm just going to move my chart out of the way and we'll start shuffling the deck. So I'm going to do a reading for each of the sun signs. So we've got them around in our astrological wheel here. So I'm just going to pop out a card and some tea charms for each sign and do a little bit of a reading to see how things are looking for you over the next 3 days. That's from the 8th to the 10th of July inclusive, which is Wednesday to Friday. And just to preview a little bit later on Friday, I will be recording a reading that will take you through the weekend. So look out for that. And if you do want to be notified of that and you like what I'm offering with the readings, please feel free to click the subscribe button below and also the bell so that you receive notifications. So here we go. Let's just do a little bit more shuffling. And let's lay out the cards. So this position is for Aries. Then we have Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Just pop those cards off to the side. And then let's do a couple of tea charms for each sun sign as well. So we'll put a couple in each area. And we'll combine the reading to see what those messages are for each sun sign. I love the tea charms. They're quite quirky. And it's amazing how just a couple of little charms can give so much information. Just as a single card in tarot can give quite a lot of information as well. So we'll just go around the wheel. So all I'm doing is dipping into my fortune teacup and pulling out a couple of charms. So just one more here. And let's begin the reading. So let's start with Aries. So if you were born as an Aries sun sign, it means you were born between approximately the 21st of March through to about the 19th, 20th of April. So let's see what we've got here. So for Aries, we've got the Queen of Cups. Now, Aries is a sign that is normally very outgoing, very dynamic. You know, just jump in and do it and don't worry about the consequences or don't think before acting. And in lots of cases, that can be a really positive thing to do. But what the card is telling me today with the Queen of Cups is it's time for you to slow down over the next 3 days. It's time for you to have a little bit of a look, go within yourself and just really see where you're at. And because this is an emotional card, we've got the cups, this is about you looking at your emotions, which is not something that you are comfortable doing or that you do easily. So this is going to be a little bit challenging for you. However, the good news is we've got the Mermaid and we've got the Cane. So this is saying to me that you've got someone that's close to you, a female person or a person who has a more feminine energy who is going to be there to support you as you look into your emotions a little more deeply. So I think for the next 3 days, it's all about looking inward, becoming more self-aware from an emotional perspective, but you do have that person that's close to you who will be there to support you through it. Now let's move on to Taurus. So you are a Taurus if you were born between April 2021 or May 2021. It depends on the location of whether it's a leap year and a few other things. So what we've got here is we've got the Page of Wands and we've got the Tent and we've got the Camel. So for you, Taurus, this is going to be a time of looking at new beginnings. You're going to start something new, and it's going to be something that's going to start small and it's going to be considered. It's well measured. And as a Taurus, you're a person who's stable, reliable, you're very loyal. You're also a very sensual soul. You're very tactile. You like to touch things. You like to build things in terms of being connected to the earth because it is a fixed earth energy. The downside is you can be a little bit too stubborn at times and you can sort of not move from your own stance. So what we're going to do is look at this Page of Wands and see that you're actually going to be taking a new small step forward. You're going to be taking some new action in a new area of life. And with the tent, this is saying to me that it's time not to retreat for you. You know, you don't want to go into that tent and just sit there. You do want to look at this Page of Wands and really start to put something into action that you've been thinking about for some time, because we've got the camel here. And the camel makes sure it has all it needs in order to cross the desert and survive. And so you've been thinking about everything that you need, and you've been slowly putting things into place, but you've been getting a little bit caught up in that and staying in that little retreated position, sort of staying hidden. But it's now time to slowly step out and actually take the action you need for this new project, because you do have everything in place. You have everything you need in order for it to be successful. It may be a little bit of a hard sort of journey over the next 3 days, getting yourself out and moving with it, but it will be successful for you. So let's move on to Gemini. So if you're a Gemini, you were born between May 21 through to about June 20. And Geminis are very fast thinkers. They're intelligent, they learn quickly, but their brain is so busy that sometimes they don't process things perhaps as deeply as they should in some instances. And with this very fast mind of yours, you can be a little bit all over the place with your thoughts at times. So what this is saying to me with the Five of Pentacles here is that now is a time for you to slow down as well, to slow down and really think things through. This is not a time to be rushing around. You can see we've got them out in the cold, out in the snow. They're not moving very fast. So this to me is a time for you to slow down, not just mentally, but physically, because we've got Pentacles here, and Pentacles are about the physical things. So it is time for you to slow down. Your energy is quite low. And Geminis have a tendency to be a little bit nervous in that they have nervous energy. And so you really need to physically slow down to let that balance out. Here we've got the building, the castle, and we've got the dancer. And so what this is saying to me is that this is really time for you to get out and lighten up. Do something that's fun. Do something that is more physical than mental. So, you know, if you don't like dancing, it's about going somewhere, like going back to the gym, for example, going to a dance class, going to a yoga class, doing something physical out in public that you can slow down and you will feel comfortable with. And that will really appeal to you. Even with this pandemic, with restrictions, there are still some places that can offer group activities that you can do, and that will really, it will really satisfy that Gemini need to be out and about with other people, to be able to communicate. But it's also about doing something physical for yourself over the next 3 days, just to calm down that nervous energy. Let's move on to Cancer. So we are in the sun sign of Cancer now, so you've probably either had a birthday recently or you have one coming up, because Cancers are born between June 21 and approximately July 22. Cancers are home-loving people. They love their home, not so much the physical, like it's a big mansion or a little 2-bedroom apartment or, you know, a tent. It's not about the physicality, it's about the feeling of being home and having a home base. Cancers are very family oriented. They're quite sensitive people. So if you're a Cancer, you're very sensitive, you're quite emotional. On the downside, unfortunately, you can be a little bit moody at times. That is something to watch out for. So we have the Ace of Cups reversed here. So this is saying to me that it's time to calm down those emotions. With Sun in Cancer at the moment, you're in your home sign, so everything is about family, everything is about emotion. It's all very strong at the moment. So it is about time. It is about just cooling down on those emotions, just bringing them back inside a little bit more than they have been. I feel that emotionally things are opening up for you in a new way, because we've got the butterfly here and the peacock. And this is about you transforming yourself so that you can be seen in a different way by by those who are close to you. I feel that by just pulling back on expressing the emotions as fully as you have been will allow you to show yourself in a different way. So let's move on to Leo. So you are a Leo if you're born between roughly the 22nd, 23rd of July through to about the 22nd of August. And Leos are fun. They're fun, they're playful, they're courageous. They love to socialize as well. They're optimists. You know, the sun is at home in Leo. The sun rules Leo. So Leos shine very, very brightly. So what we have here is the 10 of Wands reversed. And this says that whatever has been burdening you is going to be released over the next 2 or 3 days. You're going to be able to put down whatever it is that has been getting you down. Even though Leos don't get down that often, there is something that has been a burden for you, that's been troubling you. But we're in a position now where over the next 3 days, you can start to put that to rest and not carry that anymore. You're going to find when you do that, we've got the dragon here, that your energy is going to really build up again. You're going to come back to your old self. And you're going to come back to your old self. We've got the book. The book is about learning or knowledge or inner wisdom. And so you're going to bring all of your own inner wisdom to bear so that you can drop this burden that you've been carrying for quite some time and really be able to come back to being who you truly are. Let's move into Virgo. So Virgo is if your birthday is from about the 22nd, 21st of August through to about the 20th to the 22nd of September. Virgos are very detail oriented. Virgos like to pull things apart and put them back together in a new way that they feel works better. Virgos can be a little bit perfectionist in their approach to things. They're also very logical, but they're mutable earth, which means that they're good at taking things physically apart and putting them together, which is really, really good. But what I'm seeing here for Virgo is we have the 5 of Cups. And Virgo, I feel that you're feeling a little bit low, a little bit sad, and a little bit regretful of something that has happened recently. And you're kind of hiding at the moment. So my suggestion for you over the next 3 days, looking at the frog and the mask here, is to have a leap of faith and just be more open. Stop hiding, be more open, and that will allow you to move past this regret, this sadness that you're feeling at the moment, because we've got these 2 of Cups sitting behind here. So, you know, there is energy that you can draw upon. There's emotional energy that you can draw upon. It's not like you've gone into a deep depression or anything, but there's been something that's been bothering you, and it is about a leap of faith and opening up and being vulnerable and talking to someone about it. We'll find that very helpful. Coming over to Libra. Libra are for people born around about 2021 September through to about 21-22 October. And Librans are about achieving balance. Librans are at their happy when things are in harmony, when things are balanced. Librans are very charming people. They're very charismatic people, and they really love being with others more one-on-one or in very small groups rather than huge public things that would go to. Librans need a relationship for balance. And I don't necessarily mean a romantic relationship, but they need to be in partnership with others. That is how they thrive. That is how they are at their best. And we've got the King of Cups reversed here. So lots of emotional things happening for Libra at the moment. And because the King of Cups is reversed, this is saying to me that you really are out of balance emotionally. And it really is important over the next 3 days for you, we've got the scales here, to once again find that Libran harmony and balance, because there is a new opportunity that is going to show itself within the next 3 days, that if you're in balance, you will be ready and prepared to take. If you stay out of balance, you might not see the opportunity, or you might decide, no, I can't do it because. So spend the next couple of days just really looking at those emotions, dealing with them, talking to someone else about it, and getting back into balance so that when this new opportunity comes along, you will be ready for it. Moving on to Scorpio. So you're a Scorpio if you are born between October 21-22 through to about November 21-23 area. Scorpios, fixed water. They're very deep emotionally. Scorpios don't easily reveal their feelings externally to others. They are much more inward focused because the sign is a negative polarity, so it's an inward yin polarity. And so for Scorpio, we have the Hierophant. And this is saying to me that it's time for you to step up and lead a little bit more. The Hierophant can be the sign of the teacher. It can also be about the sign of taking charge a little bit more. You're the one in charge, and it's about doing it from a space where you're more balanced, you're less judgmental, because Scorpios can be quite judgmental at times. And so this is about you really stepping up into your own power in a more public way than you normally would, putting yourself out there. Now we have the Mountain and the Heart here. And so what I'm seeing with this is it's about taking the lead about how you feel and overcoming some obstacle that there is for you at the moment in regard to someone that you care about. And you're finding it difficult to show your feelings to that person. So step up and take the chance of showing your feelings. You might be surprised at the result. Moving on to Sagittarius. So you're a Sagittarian if you're born roughly between 22 November, 21 December, if your birthday lies there. Sagittarians are considered the happy-go-lucky sign. They're a mutable fire energy, so they're a little bit like a fireworks display where, oh, I'm over here, oh, I'm over there. Sagittarians like to explore. They like to travel overseas, or if they are not in a position to travel, they like to explore the world and explore philosophy, what's out there with their minds. They love higher education in terms of study. So this isn't so much about them studying basic things. This is about high in-depth study. So people, when they see the happy-go-lucky Sagittarian, they see someone who's just a lot of fun, who's out there and doing and exploring. But there is this deeper philosophical side to them that perhaps, unless you know the Sagittarian world, you're not aware of. So we've got the star here. Now, our normally happy-go-lucky Sagittarian is not feeling very hopeful at the moment and not feeling very hopeful over the next few days, because the star can be about hope. And it's also about drawing from one to the other, because you can see that the person in the photo is that they're emptying water onto the earth and into a pond. And so I feel that you're overextending your energies at the moment. You're trying to do too many things at once. And so getting that under control over the next few days is going to open up two very specific opportunities for you. We've got the juicy cherries here, 2 cherries. So there are going to be 2 opportunities that are going to come into your awareness for you to consider. So try to hold back trying to do too many things at once so that you can recognize these 2 opportunities, because whichever one you choose, and there will be one that will be more important for you than the other, it's going to take you into a period of great growth and expansion, because we have the tree here. And so there is this opportunity for a long-term growth, even though we're only talking about 2 or 3 days at the moment. I feel that this opportunity coming in over the next 2 or 3 days is going to bring you the opportunity for long-term growth. So let's move on to Capricorn. So you're a Capricorn if you're born around the 22nd of December through to around the 21st of January. Capricorns are very practical. Capricorns like to achieve. Work is very important for people who are Capricorns, and doing things in a practical, public way. So Capricorns are not quite as hidden as some of the other signs. For example, Taurus is very practical and does things, but does them in a quieter way. Capricorn puts themselves out there and are quite comfortable being leaders. So, Capricorns could be like the CEO of a company, for example, or running their own business, that kind of thing. So Capricorns are very practical, they're very good at big picture, and they're very good at strategizing as well. But what's even more important is they're good at strategizing in a way that can make things come into physical being. So they don't just plan, they actually make things happen, but they do it in an orderly, practical way. So what we have here is the Seven of Pentacles. And so what I'm seeing here for Capricorn for the next 2 or 3 days is that you're going to continue on with what you're doing. I don't see many changes in terms of your regular work, in terms of your regular day-to-day activities. You have everything organized and orderly. You're doing everything in an orderly fashion, and you're doing it with a sense of craftsmanship. In other words, what I'm saying is you know what you're doing, and you're going to keep doing it over the next 3 days and onwards, because that is your nature. But we've got here the baby carriage, and we've also got the mushroom. So what this is saying to me is that while you're so focused on what you'd be normally doing and keeping that all on track and making sure that it's successful, there is another area that you're going to miss, something that's hidden, because mushrooms grow in the dark. So there is going to be a new opportunity that hasn't come to light yet. And if you're not careful, if you just keep focusing on what you're always doing and moving forward that, you may miss it. So keep an eye out over the next 2 to 3 days for the potential of some new opportunity. Let's move on. So we've got Aquarius. So you are an Aquarian if you're born between 21st, 22nd of January through to about the 21st of February. So let's have a look at what we've got. Aquarius. Aquarius is a great networkers. Aquarians love doing things in groups. They like learning in groups because quite a serious natured sun sign. They are the best networkers. If you ever want to learn how to network, go and learn from an Aquarian. They know it so well. So with our lovely Aquarius energy, that's fixed air. So they're very good at forming opinions. And once an opinion has been formed, they are very good at sticking with that opinion. So unlike a Gemini who can change their mind a lot unless they're really, really super focused, then Aquarians are the opposite in that sense, that once they have an opinion, they stick with it. So let's see what we have for Aquarius. We have the Nine of Cups reversed. So this is saying over the next 2 to 3 days, this is not about you sitting pretty. This is about you not defending a particular opinion that you have about something that you have thought through and you feel very strongly about, because once again, we've got cups for emotion. So this is something that you feel very strongly about, and now is not the time to sit with that fixed opinion. It is time to be more open-minded and just look at it from another point of view. Now we've got the fox here, and we've got the lady. The dress represents the lady. So what I'm seeing is over the next couple of days, you're going to stand your ground over an opinion you have about something that is opposite to the opinion of another friend. And that friend is either a female or someone who has a more feminine, passive energy about them. And this is not a good way for it to be. This is about you opening up and looking at the other person's point of view. Now, if you do that, you're going to find the relationship with this person is going to improve, because the fox is intelligent. Fox is quite cunning and quite street smart. And so what I'm seeing with the fox is, rather than using your mental analytical ability, it's about being street smart. It's about using your smarts in relation to this other person emotionally, because that's what we're seeing in this card, rather than just going from an analytical perspective. So for Aquarius, with another person in your life who is female, has a feminine energy, it is about getting smarter about looking at the issue from their perspective as well as your own, and being a little less defensive around it. Moving on to Pisces. So Pisces is if you're born late February, so around about the 20th of February, going through to about the 21st of March. Pisces are the ethereal ones, the artistic ones, the ones who are prepared to sacrifice themselves for others. And sometimes that's a wonderful thing, and other times it can lead to a little bit of self-victimization. So we've got to be a little bit careful of that. But Pisces, again, are very sensitive souls. They're very, very intuitive, quite psychic in many ways, although all signs have the ability for psychic skills, but Pisces are much more ethereal. It is harder for Pisces to create boundaries for themselves. So let's have a look at Pisces. And Pisces, we've got the Three of Swords here, and over the next 3 days, unfortunately, you are going to feel somewhat brokenhearted over something. You are going to feel sad. You won't be able to see the sunshine in your life over the next 3 days, and it would be easy for you to fall into a depression. So you just need to be aware of that. We've got the handcuffs here, and we've got the tortoise. So this is saying to me that you really are sad because you're feeling very constricted at the moment, and things are moving so slowly for you. You feel that you're not moving anywhere, going anywhere, doing anything at the moment. You feel very, very stuck, and it's almost like a form of self-imprisonment that has happened, that has either created this feeling of sadness, of hurt, or the sadness or hurt has created this feeling of being imprisoned and everything slowing down. So for you, I would suggest over the next 2 or 3 days to be very gentle with yourself. Allow yourself the time to go through this, because it will be hard for the next 2 or 3 days. But allow yourself the time. But I will suggest to you, it would be easy for you to start going into what I call self-sacrifice mode. And I encourage you to avoid that. I encourage you to put boundaries around that self-sacrifice and make sure that you are nurturing and looking after yourself. Particularly as the sun is in Cancer, you want to have that self-care. Well, I hope this reading for each of these sun signs has been beneficial and helpful to you. So until next time.